Hello YouTube. On this video we're going to be talking about a lip seal, a neoprene seal. It can be a camshaft seal, be a crankshaft seal, it doesn't matter. It can be an axle seal. We're just going to be discussing the lip seal and what to do and what not to do. All right, what to do and what not to do. You never want to put on a lip seal with the lip aiming the wrong way. All right, in a seal, the hinge is over here. The seal goes in this way. The inner seal is the one that has the small spring behind it. There's a small spring behind it. It's a lip seal. This is a double lip seal. The front lip seal keeps dust from even getting in there and just riding in there and scratching up the crankshaft. The back lip seal with the spring on it keeps the oil from coming out. I'll take you out to the shop and show you. We're doing a front timing cover off a Jeep, and I'll show you where the seal goes in relation to this timing cover. But always remember, the general rule of thumb, doesn't matter what you're working on, go ahead and always remember to look for that little spring. I can even take this seal apart so you'll know what I'm talking about. Don't try this at home. I'm not at home, so I can try this. So here we go. So this little spring, most of them are silver, black, it doesn't matter. This little spring is what holds tension on the seal up against the shaft. Camshaft, crankshaft, axle shaft, it doesn't matter, the shaft. So this seal should always be aiming in. Whatever you're doing, whatever environment you have, you're trying to keep the oil, the grease, anything in, the seal in. That will keep stuff in. It cannot go out past that spring there. If you were to put this on backwards, the pressure could actually put pressure on it and just push that seal open. But going on this way, the pressure that comes on there, because it has a spring on there, all the pressure that gets on the seal actually makes it tighter on the shaft. So the seal is there, the spring is there to keep tension on it. The pressure puts more pressure. The more pressure we have, the more pressure is on that lip seal. So that's there to keep some tension on it while there is no pressure. All right, so now we understand the importance of a lip seal and which way it should be aiming and where the spring should be. Good, we're past that now. Now let's get on to some more important parts of the seal. Is you don't want to put one on dry. You want to make sure you put a little bit of oil on it, on the shaft when you do it. I prefer Sil-Glide because the OEM manufacturers do use Sil-Glide. BMW uses Sil-Glide. A lot of the OEM manufacturers are going to use the Sil-Glide. It's going to stay on the part and stay lubricated. I've taken a BMW apart that has 100,000 miles on it, pull it apart, and you'll actually see that it still has Sil-Glide on the lip seal. So we want to put on there Sil-Glide. It's very slick, but yes, it does not deteriorate neoprene. You can use motor oil, that's perfectly fine. Wheel bearing grease, just don't put it on dry. That should be, it should be an unspoken, but yeah, I'm going to go and tell you, do not put it on dry. So very simple. You don't have to use Sil-Glide. I think you should, but make sure you lubricate the seal. Okay, so now we know what a lip seal is and which way it should be aiming, and now we know that we don't want to put it on dry. What's the next step? The next step is properly installing it. To properly install it, one of the things that's overlooked is what kind of sealer do we want to put around the outside of it. It actually comes with a red sealer on it. It looks like red paint. It actually has a sealer. This is a metal cased one, so you could put a little bit of glue or sealer around the outside of it. If it's a neoprene seal, I'll show you a full neoprene one, but it has even rubber on the outside. That's what we're doing on the Jeep timing cover. You want to put it on dry. If you use a silicone-based sealer on the outside of it, in the vibrations, it could just pop right out. So put it on dry. If anything, you can use a hardening sealer, a 3M, something that dries hard, that doesn't... Okay, so we discussed the neoprene seal and which way the lip should be aiming. We've already talked about don't put it on dry. You don't want a dry seal on your shaft. All right, so we're going to use Sil-Glide. Okay, so we've discussed that. Now we're going to talk about the proper way to install a seal. Take a hammer and just beat the bejeebas out of it, and you're doing like 80% of the people. No, we don't want to do that. The front seal, the inner part that goes here, one of the most common things is when we have seal failure, Now, we have seal failure, but we see seal failure is this piece up here will be all distorted. They're hitting it with the hammer, driving it in, and it distorts the front face. Once you distort the front metal face, the seal is going to be distorted. So, once the front face, okay, if the front face here is all distorted, it will be all wavy and you will have a failure. You will have a leak. It's not the seal's fault. Once again, it's never the seal's fault. It's an installer's fault. It's somebody else's fault. It's never the seal's fault. So, we want to make sure we don't distort the front face. How are we going to do that? Well, if you have a proper installer, it grabs, or it doesn't grab anything, but it's going to put the pressure evenly all the way across and right on the outer edge, pressing the seal in, leaving the front face perfectly flat. We're not going to get this front face distorted, and then it's going to be wavy, and our seal is going to be wavy. If this metal has a wave in it, the seal will follow the metal because it's encased in the metal. So, the proper tool is most definitely important. We would, if there's room, put one slightly larger, so when you're installing it, it actually centers the seal up. If you don't have the room as you're installing it, you're going to check and see, make sure that it's flat. I would think this is common sense, but as many failures that we see that come in the shop because the seal's been installed wrong, I'm going to just say that it's not common sense if you don't know anything about the seals. So, that all being said, I hope this helps. It's a small short video on the proper way to install a seal. I'll take you back to the shop. We're showing you this Jeep timing cover. I'm doing the front seal while rebuilding the oil pump, and I'll go ahead and show you how I install the seal on this particular timing cover. You can use that same procedure just about on anything. If you're doing a front seal and you're not pulling the timing cover off, there is a special tool that allows you to go over the shaft. If the shaft is sticking out through here, you pretty much cannot use something like this to install it. So the seal is actually a tube that goes over the shaft to get on there. A lot of times, we're not going to have a special installation tool for every seal, so I make them. I go on the lathe, I get a piece of pipe, I cut it, and I make my own installation tools. As long as you're grabbing the outer part of the lip, you're okay. I'm not saying that you can't use a hammer and put one on. I know many old-timer, myself included, that that's all we have available to us. Common sense. Don't push this all the way in and leave that sticking out and then think you're going to hit it here. It's just going to distort it all out. You're going to go all the way around, tapping it in as you go. How to install a seal. But there's a lip seal. This is what's called a lip seal. There's the lip. There's a spring that goes right behind it. That spring does not go aiming out. That spring goes aiming in. It keeps the oil inside. If that was aiming out, you can see the seal, the oil pressure would just push right out of there. Going this way, the spring is holding the seal tight on the shaft and oil cannot come out. So always, no matter what seal you're doing, rear main seal, front seal, any seal on anything for the rest of your life, remember the shiny spring, that's a little spring right in there, that always aims in. It's always going to aim in, never going to aim out. So if it's aiming out, you did something wrong already. Oil will just go right out. It also it's a lip seal. So the lip's aiming in to keep oil from hitting that lip and won't go. If you put it aiming out, oil will just come right past that lip. So we want to go in this way. The spring is on this side. All right, thought I'd have to go ahead and do that. Also, this is going to get installed in the timing cover on the front. Basically what the sheet of paper is saying is to have it solid, put something behind it. I'm going to go ahead and remove the blocks and have something solid to press down on. I'm using a seal installer tool. A socket would work. A big socket, 1/2-inch drive with the extension could be used. Here we're going to go ahead and use the proper installer. You see the taper, if I was doing a race, that fits right inside the bearing race, and we can install it. It's aluminum without hurting a race. Also, I can flip it and have a perfect seal installer that's pressing on the outer ring, and it's going to press on the outside, pressing it straight in. You could tap on as you're going around, use a socket or anything else. Want to make sure you don't damage the seal. We want to put it on there, and we want to just press it on. It has a rubber coating on the outside, so it's meant to be installed dry with no lubricants. If you put silicone on here and install it, it could just slide right out. So it's best to just install it dry. All right, tip of the day, I use Sil-Glide on all my seals on the inner side. Rear main seals, front seal, anything with the neoprene seal, I will use Sil-Glide and put it in the lip seal. I don't know if you can see that. Go ahead and do it now before installing it. It makes it much easier than trying to reach in here and put it in here. I'll also put it around the back side right in there. It's on the seal. It's not on the outside. Do not put any on the outside. Beautiful. I'm using a slightly bigger one so that I can install it flush without having to figure out what flush is. There we go. Quick and easy. As you can see, installed flush, lip seals aiming in, properly installed seal. Went ahead and did this now before doing the oil pump. Just much easier to get it out of the way now. So there you go. The proper way to put in a seal. I hope this helps. If this has been informative, insightful, if it's been entertaining, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell all your buds, tell your friends, tell everybody who has a leaky seal that now you know how to do a seal, and get out there and do a seal. As for me, I'm getting back out the shop and getting back to work. Thank you.
You didn't talk about the importance of not putting on a dry seal on the shaft.
We can go back in.